The story as retold by Alice Marriott and Carol K. Rachlin. In the beginning, there was nothing, and Maheo the All-Spirit lived in the void. He looked around him, but there was nothing to see. He listened, but there was nothing to hear. There was only Maheo, alone in nothingness. Because of the greatness of his power, Maheo was not lonesome. His being was a universe, but as he moved through the endless time of nothingness, it seemed to Maheo that his power should be put to use. What good is power, Maheo asked himself, if it is not used to make a world and people to live in it? With his power, Maheo created a great water, like a lake, but salty. Out of the salty water, Maheo knew he could bring all life that ever was to be. The lake itself was life, if Maheo so commanded it. In the darkness of nothingness, Maheo could feel the coolness of water and taste on his lips the tang of salt. There should be water beings, Maheo told his power, and so it was. First the fish swimming in the deep water, and then mussels and snails and crawfish lying on the sand and mud Maheo had formed so his lake should have a bottom. Let us also create something that lives on the water, Maheo thought to his power, and so it was, for now there were snow geese and mallards, and teal and coots and terns long living and swimming about on the water's surface. Maheo could hear the splashing of their feet and flapping of their wings in the darkness. I should like to see the things that have been created, Maheo decided, and again so it was. Light began to grow and spread, first white and bleached in the east, then golden and strong till it filled the middle of the sky and extended all around the horizon. Maheo watched the light, and he saw the birds and fishes and the shellfish lying on the bottom of the lake as the light showed them to him. How beautiful it all is, Maheo thought in his heart. Then the snow geese paddled over to where she thought Maheo was, in the space above the lake. I do not see you, but I know that you exist. The goose began, I do not know where you are, but I know you must be everywhere. Listen to me, Maheo. This is good water that you have made, on which we live. But birds are not like fish. Sometimes we get tired of swimming. Sometimes we would like to get out of the water. Then fly, and Maheo, and he waved his arms. All the water birds flew, skittering along the surface of the lake until they had enough to rise in the air. The skies were darkened with them. How beautiful their wings are in the light, Maheo said to his power, as the birds wheeled and turned and became living patterns against the sky. The loon was the first drop back to the surface of the lake. Maheo, he said, looking around, for who he knew that Maheo was all about. You have made us a sky and light to fly in, and you have made us water to swim in. It sounds ungrateful to want something else, yet we still do. When we are tired of swimming and flying, we should like a dry, solid place where we could walk and rest. Give us a place to build our nest, please, Maheo. So be it, answered Maheo, but to make such a place I must have all your help, all of you. By myself I have made 4 things, the water, the light, the sky, air, and the peoples of my water. Now I must have help if I am to create more, for my power will only let me make 4 things by myself. Tell us how we can help you, said all the water peoples. We are ready to do what you say. Maheo stretched out his hand and beckoned. Let the biggest and swiftest try to find land first, he said, and the snow goose came to him. I am ready to try, the snow goose said, and she drove herself along the water until the white wake behind her grew and grew to a sharp white point that drove her up in the air as the feathers drive an arrow. She flew high into the sky until she was only a dark spot against the clearness of light. Then the goose turned, and down she plunged, faster than any arrow, and dived into the water. She pierced the surface with her beak as if it was the point of a spear. The snow goose was gone for a long time. Maheo counted to 400 times before she rose to the surface of water and lay there floating, her beak half open as she gasped for air. What have you brought us? Maheo asked her, and the snow goose sighed sadly and answered, Nothing. I brought nothing back. The loon tried, and after him the mallard. Each in turn rose until he was a speck against the light, and turned and dived with the speed of a flashing arrow into the water. And each in turn rose warily, and warily answered nothing, when Maheo asked him what he had brought. At least there came a little coot, paddling across the surface of the water very quietly, dipping his head sometimes to catch a tiny fish, and shaking the water beads from his scalp lock whenever he rose. Maheo, the little coot said softly, When I put my head beneath the water, it seems to me that I see something there, far below. Perhaps I can swim down to it. I don't know, I can't fly or dive like my sisters and brothers. All I could do, but I will swim down the best I know how and go as deep as I can. May I try, please, Maheo? Little brother, said Maheo, no man can do more than his best, and I have asked for the help of all the water peoples. Certainly you shall try. Perhaps swimming will be better than diving, after all. Try, little brother, and see what you can do. Ha ha ho, the little coot said, Thank you, Maheo, and he put his head under water and swam down and down and down and down until he was out of sight.